Hey, what's up, y'all? I'm the Psychic Zombie, or of course, some people call me Jigs. I personally prefer Jigs as it's shorter and like more efficient, so you're not wasting time saying the entire the Psychic Zombie. But the solution to that, for some people, is just call me Zombie, which I also think is a sweet ass nickname. Zombies are like my favorite thing in the world, but I still like Jigs, even though people sometimes mistake it for Jugs. That's enough about that normal or longer than normal intro. I think that was a little bit long. Anyway, this gameplay is most likely going to be CoD4. I recently got this game, because everyone that I know is like, oh, CoD4 is the best, yada yada yada. Best Call of Duty ever. And I don't understand that, really, because if it's so good, why are there only 1,000 people playing this when there are like 50,000 people playing Modern Warfare 3? Like, I'm talking to someone who plays Modern Warfare 3, and he's like, yeah, COD 4 is so much better than this game. And it's like, why don't you play it then? And it's like, yeah, I do agree, it's a lot better than Modern Warfare 3. But as I've said before, Tetris is better than Modern Warfare 3. Modern Warfare 3 is an awful game. Black Ops 2 is most likely, sadly, going to be the last Call of Duty I buy. I mean, unless it absolutely blows me away, I'm not going to be, putting money toward another Call of Duty afterwards, because, they've just been getting progressively worse. And, instead of buying a new game and being like, oh man, I wonder what kind of cool new stuff they're going to put in, you're thinking like, oh, I just hope there's less bullshit than the last game. And that's not how I should be feeling whenever I buy a new game. So Black Ops 2, if it's not spectacular, I'm probably not going to buy it. But, that's that. Tells you a little bit about the gameplay, and I talked a little bit about that, my feelings about that, which is more than I normally talk about, involving, like, game news, which, I would hardly qualify it as that, but that's that. Let's get into the topic for this video, which isn't really a topic. It's more of just a fun video. But, first, I should tell you, I was having trouble finding a topic to talk about this week. I, wanted something fun and not serious at all because of my last one, which was, relatively serious compared to what I normally do. So, I was looking through other commentators' videos, which is what I do to find a topic. I'm like, just look at... what I sometimes do. Again, I found Overtflow, his channel, which I've already been subscribed to. I looked at it, and he's one of my favorite commentators, and I looked at his little channel and like his recent videos, and he did one where I got this topic idea. He was like a would you rather video. So because I give credit where credit is due, the idea for doing the would you rather edition of this little gameplay, the little would you rather commentary, is, completely Overt's idea. It's not like really a ripoff. It is different questions, I should say, but regardless, I did get the idea from him. So if you don't, know him, then he's a pretty cool commentator, and I enjoy his videos, and that's enough of that. Anyway, the first one, let's get into it. The first one, would you rather be trapped in an elevator with 3 wet dogs or 3 fat men with bad breath? And it's pretty easy, actually, for me. I've never really minded the smell of a wet dog, so I would go with that. And, another reason for that, being trapped in an elevator, I would imagine it getting pretty hot because there's no, like, air conditioning or anything. So, like, 3 large men isn't going to help, the heat there, the humidity and stuff. If anything, it's just going to make the air thicker because of their massive amount of breath. So, that isn't going to be helping anything. And whereas dogs, the wet dogs, might even be a little cooler because they're wet, and, like, I could get next to a dog and it would be cool. And, the air isn't circulating, so, with the bad breath, since the air isn't circulating, like I said, the entire elevator in a matter of minutes would just become overwhelmingly stinky. And obviously I wouldn't, you know, that's why I'm gonna go with the wet dogs thing of that. So, yeah, that is explained. Next, would you rather snort a shake of pepper or a live bee? You know, I'm not too up to date on my pepper measurements, but I think a shake is just like enough for the palm of your hand and not like a lot. And I mean, like a live bee, that's struggling, you know? I mean, even if it wasn't about the pain, I mean, I think it would be just really uncomfortable to have something moving around in my, you know, nasal cavity. So I think if it wasn't for that, you know, even if it wasn't for that, I'd be going for the shake of pepper. Because, I mean, you know, you get that in there, you sneeze, you know, you let it out, you blow your nose a little bit and you're done. But a live bee, it's like he stings you up in there, and like for bees you need to like remove the stinger or whatever, and you can't really do that comfortably if it's in like deep in your nasal cavity. So that's kind of my answer to that, is that I would snort a thing of pepper. I mean, you know, even though that would be pretty uncomfortable. Next one. Here we go. Would you rather eat a giant live moth or a dead hummingbird with the wings? And you guys, if you watched the video about, you know, me kicking the moth's ass, you know I hate moths. And for obvious reasons, I would not want to eat one. Even though I hate moths and I would like to kill, you know, like to kill the moths, I would not want to put one in my mouth. You know, there are a lot of things that I would be comfortable with in my mouth. A live squirming moth is not one of them. And also, you know, the crunch that you get whenever you crush a insect, like I hate that sound. So it's like just in my mouth, that would just be really gross. I mean, just it's a moth, and it makes that really gross crunching sound. So I mean, you know, the hummingbird would probably still make that sound, but it would be gross, and I would not want to do that. So yeah, hopefully, you know, I mean, obviously I don't really care if you have the same opinion. It's really an opinion thing that doesn't really matter, but I mean, you should probably, I mean, I'm going with the hummingbird. Even though, I mean, I wouldn't want to kill a hummingbird, but if it's already dead and it's like I'm stranded on an island and there's a dead hummingbird that I find, I'm going to go with the, you know, dead hummingbird as opposed to trying to catch a moth and eating it, which makes sense to me. And, you know, that's pretty much the last one. Had another one, but, you know, I had another one that I thought was good, but didn't have time for that. And, you know, anyway, thanks for watching. This was pretty fun. Hopefully you enjoyed it, and, you know, because I enjoyed making it, partly at least, you know, I mean, it was pretty fun, except for imagining the part of the moth. So anyway, without me blabbling, which, I mean, I hope it doesn't sound like I'm blabbling in this video. I don't want it to sound like I'm doing that. You know, regardless, have a nice day, and goodbye. Until next time.